Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to GNR Central, and we're going to kick off today's news with a Hollywood A-lister who revealed that his dad used to be Guns N' Roses' accountant. So a couple weeks ago, Jonah Hill appeared on the Howard Stern Show to promote his new movie Mid-90s, which sees the actor make his directorial debut. And during the interview with the politically correct shock jock, Hill talked about his love of music and also revealed that his father, Richard Feldstein, was a tour accountant for Guns N' Roses back in the day. So Hill made it clear that his father wasn't exactly hanging out with the members of the band, and he was more of a behind-the-scenes kind of person. In a separate interview with CBS, Hill had the following to say about his Guns N' Roses connection. He said, "It wasn't like I was going to Guns N' Roses concerts when I was 4 years old or anything," Hill laughed. "And it's not like Axl Rose is like, oh, I'm going to party with my accountant tonight. My dad's like an accountant, you know?" Turning now to Slash news. So Slash is pushing a measure in Florida to end Greyhound racing. So the Guns N' Roses guitarist posted a tweet on social media trying to influence voters on Amendment 13 that would see an end to Greyhound racing in the state of Florida. So residents were voting on November 6th against or for the amendment. So according to Ballotpedia, as of 2018, Florida was one of 10 states where wagering on dog races was legal. However, in just 6 states, including Florida, there are operating dog racetracks for gambling. Neighboring Alabama also has active dog racetracks as of 2018, and the remaining 40 states had prohibited wagering on dog races. So in 1931, the Florida state legislature passed a law allowing wagering on horse racing and dog racing. So let's look at the results. So on Tuesday, voters overwhelmingly approved Amendment 13 to Florida's Constitution, which phased out dog racing by 2020. So the ban received 69% of the vote. It needed 60% to pass. So the vote will end dog racing at Florida's 11 Greyhound tracks, including 2 in Broward and Palm Beach counties. Just 6 active Greyhound racing tracks in 5 U.S. states will remain. So one thing that's come up because of this vote is that there's going to be a lot of Greyhounds that are going to need homes now because they're not going to be used for dog racing anymore. I'm sure the members of Guns N' Roses will be adopting some of the Greyhounds. I'm just kidding. Famous people never do that kind of stuff when it comes to the issues they stand for. There was a new interview with Gilby Clarke who talked about what it was like when he joined Guns N' Roses. So he gave an interview to Indie Power where he said they were extremely respectful and Axl was incredibly respectful to me, but not like they didn't treat me like a band member or did. I think they were cautious because there were probably a chance that Izzy was going to come back. The difference between me joining and when the guys started the band was that I knew what I was getting into. I knew the band's reputation. I knew that things could end tomorrow. I even said to myself, I'm not going to try to be Izzy. I'm going to try to be myself. If they accept me for who I am, then that's great, and that's all icing on the cake.
So Gilby Clarke talked about the first time he heard Appetite for Destruction. So in the same interview with Indie Power, he talked about, first about Paul Stanley nearly producing his early band Candy. He said that was the idea. We were managed by Kiss's manager at the time, Howard Marks. At that time, Howard only had 3 acts, us, Diana Ross, and Kiss. Of course, his first day, he said maybe Paul Stanley should produce you guys. Us being huge Kiss fans, we were excited to meet him, number one. And the producing thing ended up going to Jimmy Leonard, who produced Grand Funk Railroad and the Raspberries. I was probably the one pulling more for Paul, and the singer was probably going to put a little more Jimmy Leonard. He also talked a bit about hearing Appetite for Destruction for the first time. He said, I was blown away. I actually heard it on cassette. The first thing I said when I heard the record is, who the hell is playing guitar on this record? I've said this to Slash over the years too, but when you saw Guns N' Roses at the time, the first thing you said was that Axl Rose was a star. He was great. Steven Adler was solid, and Slash was a mess. He was always out of tune. He didn't really play that great. You couldn't really tell if he was a talented guitar player in those early Guns days. When I heard that record, the first thing I said was, oh my god, this was the best guitar playing I've heard in forever. That record, they nailed it, and to this day, it's still one of the greatest rock and roll records ever created. Whatever they did, the band I saw live many times did not sound like the band on the record that I heard. The record was fantastic. Obviously, as I got to know Slash, I've talked to him about it. He said they just focused, they put all that side shit away, and they really focused on making a good record, and you can see the results of that. And then he went on to talk a bit about Izzy Stradlin. He said, I heard the same thing that everybody else heard regarding the reunion. I didn't have any in, really. I had heard that Izzy Stradlin wasn't happy. Josh Richmond, who was working with the band at the time. So now he was talking about how he got in with the band. He said that Josh Richmond, of course, if you guys don't know him, he was featured prominently in the Don't Cry music video, like the making of. And he said Josh was an old friend of mine, and I called Josh because I didn't have Slash's number. I called Josh and go, well, what's going on out there? And he goes, well, we don't really know what's happening. We don't know if Izzy's gone for good or what's happening, but they're looking for a guitar player. And you know what? I'm going to give you Slash's number. He did, and I got a call from Slash that night. He said, hey, man, we're looking for a guitar player. Will you come down and play? At that time, Use Your Illusion records were out, and they were just about to, he said they weren't out, but they were about to come out. They'd already started to do a little bit of pre-touring on it, but the records weren't out. He said, just learn these 3 songs and come down tomorrow. I actually played with them for 3 days and probably played 6 songs total. He said, all right, we'll let you know. So the next week he called me, and sitting in my living room, MTV's on in the background with no music on, and I was on the phone with former Candy and future Alice Cooper guitarist Ryan Roxy. And I look up and I go, Ryan, my picture's on TV right now. And the next thing you know, I got a call from Slash, and he goes, hey man, you got the gig, we're leaving next week, learn the whole catalog.
So that does it for today's news video. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed that, and be sure to subscribe if you love all things related to GNR. And go check us out on GNRCentral.com. Take care.